Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to your practice. My name is Gina, and today I'll be guiding us through a slow flow vinyasa class, and we'll have a special emphasis on the hips. For today's practice, you might like to have 2 blocks or block substitutes nearby, as well as a blanket for padding anytime you're on the knees or to support your seat. So a cushion could do for that purpose as well. But we want to make ourselves comfortable and have our props nearby in case you need them. And with your blocks, if you don't have yoga blocks, you can use books or boxes that are securely fastened. We'll primarily be using them to bring the floor up to us, to meet us, meet our hands, and that type of support. So it's okay if you don't necessarily have yoga blocks. You can use a substitute, okay? So let's begin by coming into Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. You can bring your feet together, and I'm sitting on my blanket. I have my pelvis kind of scooched to the very edge so that my pelvis can tilt just a little forward, allowing me to lengthen my spine. But that's a preference that you can take. You'll notice that there will be a lot of choices in today's practice. You're welcome to take them or kind of make it your own, okay? So with our feet together here and our knees wide, you might like the sensation of having your knees sort of floating above your mat, or you may like to use your blocks to fill that space. And I'll take the blocks and kind of move them under for the corner that kind of fits that space of my knees bent. Okay? Bring your hands to your shins, to your ankles. Let's take a nice big breath in, grow tall through the spine, and then with your exhale, start to bow forward. And if you want, you can just let gravity start to take over, lowering your chest toward the floor. You can also press into your inner thighs with your forearms or your elbows to give yourself a different sensation. Start to close down your eyes here, or soften your gaze out ahead of you, and bring your awareness to your breath. Start to lengthen your breath, taking a little bit longer as you breathe in, and a little bit longer as you breathe out. It might feel nice to give yourself a little massage on your feet with your thumbs, or maybe even taking your hands and massaging the calves with your thumbs. Give yourself a little bit of loving kindness here. Bringing your awareness even further into your body through those nice deep breaths. Let's take a deep breath in, lengthening up through the body, feeling that spinal extension. And then with the exhale, let your body release and let your hands come out in front of you a little bit, maybe walking your hands out beyond your feet, maybe coming onto the forearms, or if it's available to you, you can use one or both of your blocks to create a little bit of a tower to support your forehead, okay? But whatever you choose to do, let it be sort of a natural progression. You don't have to force it. You don't have to strive for anything here. As you're getting situated, notice your body's response to these movements, and then say something kind to yourself. You take another deep breath in and out, and then slowly start to walk yourself back up, and bring your feet up or your knees up, and your feet wide, and start to rock your knees from side to side. Windshield motion type wiping of the legs. Let's take another deep breath in and out. And then come into a comfortable seated position. So that's going to be your choice. So you might want to sit up on a blanket or your blocks, one or maybe both together. And let's come into Sukhasana, easy seated pose. For that, you'll take one heel and bring that just in line with the pelvis and bring the other heel sort of in front of that other ankle, okay? Let your hands slide out onto your knees. Close your eyes, take a breath in, feel your chest rise. And as you exhale, let your shoulders soften down onto your back. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Starting to engage your Ujjayi pranayama, your victorious breath. Engaging the muscles at the back of the throat gently, like you're going to whisper or fog up a mirror. So here you're letting your breath get audible and texture. You can hear it and feel it as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Now it's your choice throughout your practice. If you'd like to just keep an even rhythm to this breath so that the inhale and the exhale are matched, or perhaps you might like to take a little bit of a longer exhalation than inhalation at times, just to kind of soothe the nervous system or sort of slow down that rhythm of the breath and come back home to yourself. But conversely, if you'd like to bring a little bit of an energizing effect into your body at any time, take a slightly longer inhalation than the exhalation. So you can really feel yourself expand and fill up, and you'll just let that exhale naturally occur. Okay, so you've got choices even in your breath practice, even in and out breath, slightly longer exhale, or slightly longer inhale. For now, let's just find that even rhythm. Take one more round of breath. And then as slowly as you can, start to bring your left hand across to your right knee or to the outer thigh, and your right hand behind you. And you might just come up onto the fingertips. You might like to place a block behind you to bring a little bit of lift to the space behind you. It'll be slow flow, so be slow. So slide your hand out onto that right knee or thigh, and with your inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, twist gently to your right. You don't have to apply a ton of pressure here, but certainly if it feels available in your body, you can kind of press a little more to that right thigh or press into the floor behind you a bit. Let your gaze follow the twist. Let your head land where it feels comfortable. So it might stay in front, to the side, or to the back. Start to bring your right hand across to your left knee, so your arms are crossed in front of you, and fold forward. Just putting a little bit of weight in the sitting bones as they draw down, and that surrender type of feeling in the chest. Let's take a breath in and out. Start to come back up. Uncross your arms, let them come back out to their natural position. Breathe in and out. Wonderful. Let's find the other side. So very slowly start to bring your right hand across the space to the left knee or thigh, and your left hand behind you onto the floor, maybe with tented fingertips, or onto your block. Use your inhale to lengthen up, make a little bit of space in your body, and then exhale to twist. Letting your chest turn to the side and letting your head land where it feels comfortable. And that might evolve as you're here in your twist. Take one more round of breath here. And then slowly start to bring your chest through center. Let your left hand come across your right arm into the right thigh. Inhale, lengthen a bit here. Exhale, fold forward. Slowly start to come back up. Release your hands out to their starting position. Breathe in and out. Very slowly bring your right hand out to the side. You might want to use a block to bring the floor up a little bit. Inhale, lift the left arm up. And as we exhale, bend over to the right. Continue to settle through the pelvis. Maybe that left sitting bone kind of draws down toward the floor slightly. With your next inhale, rotate the chest open and up. Maybe let the gaze follow. Take another deep breath in and out. Inhale, bring both arms back up through center. And exhale, bring your left hand down and your right arm across. Lengthening out through the right side of the body. Round down through that right sitting bone. And then inhale, rotate upward a bit with the chest and with the gaze. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, come back up through center. With this exhale, let's bring the palms together and down, letting them land in front of the heart. Bow your head to that inner wisdom, that inner teacher. And come further into your intentions for practice today. Take a moment to notice if there is an intention coming up for you or an invocation. You might like to remember to be kind to yourself today, inviting a bit of gratitude into your practice today. Take one more round of breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Let your hands release and let your eyes open. And let's make our way onto our hands and knees. Tabletop position. And you might like to pad or support your knees with the use of a blanket. And once you've made it into your tabletop position, find some movements that feel good to you. Okay, this can be simple rocking of the hips side to side, maybe circular type of motions. Feel free to close down your eyes anytime it feels available to you. Bring your awareness back inside your body and come back to those intentions for practice. One thing I've been liking to say to myself lately is thanking my body. So thank you, body. Right? Thanks for showing up for me today, and I'll do my best to show up for you today. Let's come back to a neutral tabletop position. Now, neutral still means that we have a little bit of engagement, so we're sort of hugging in at the midline and lengthening out through the spine. So the crown of the head extends forward, and the tailbone draws back a little bit. Okay? You can tuck your toes under. Let your fingers be spread wide, palms pressed down. With our inhale, let's let the belly drop with the head and tail for cow pose. And then exhale and reverse. Let the tops of the feet press down, let the back arch coming into cat pose. Let's do that again, nice and slow. Inhale, tuck the toes under, lift the head and tail. Maybe draw the shoulder blades in toward the spine a little bit this round. And then exhale, take your time to come into cat pose. So one more time, inhale, and exhale. Inhale back to your neutral tabletop here. Let's exhale and come into our balancing pose here. I think this has been referred to as a bird dog. You can extend your left leg back and the right arm forward with the thumb pointed up. Let's extend out in either direction, lengthening out. And then with your exhale, bend your left knee and your toes out to the side and start to find a little bit of rotation here. So rolling that knee in and then lengthening the leg out and back around. Go twice more, following your breath. Try to keep the chest lifted here. And then reverse that cycle of movement. Inhale as the knee comes in toward the chest. Exhale as we lengthen back. Twice more. Pause. And then release the hand and the knee down. Give yourself a little movement. Take a light fist roll in both directions with that left hand. Come into stillness, notice how you feel. Let's do the other side. Extend the right leg back and the left arm forward. And when you're ready, lift the right leg and extend here. Find length in either direction, front to back. Take a breath in, and then with your exhale, start to bend the knee and the toes out to the side and find that rotation. Okay, it doesn't really matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise, we'll end up going both ways. But take your time, nice and steady. Pause, and then reverse the cycle of movement. Twice more. Pause, and then release. Find that movement again on the other side. With a light fist roll on the right wrist. Move in both directions. Come back to your tabletop. And then let's find child's pose here. Knees wide, with toes to touch. Release your seat down. Melt your head and your chest down. For this slow flow practice, you may like to take your block and place it underneath your forehead in your child's pose. Even if you normally bring your head all the way down to the floor, just try it out. See how that feels for you today. Might change that sensation of back bending or sort of a surrender in the frontal lobe of your brain. Give your brain a break. Take one more round of breath, perhaps trying on that longer exhale than the inhale this round. Slowly start to bring yourself back up. And you can set your block aside. And while we're here, take your blocks and place them up at the front end of your mat, kind of on either side. We'll use them for some lunges and forward bending, so they're there when we need them. But let's come into our first downward facing dog. Spread your fingers wide, about shoulder distance apart, maybe a touch wider. Plug your thumbs and index fingers down into your mat. Lift your hips up and back. Find movements here that feel good for you. And really, again, just a reminder that this is your own practice. You know your body best. So if you want to change some of these movements, you're always welcome to do so. If you'd like to invite a little bit more strengthening into this moment, you can kind of rock forward and back to a plank pose and back to down dog. Or if you just want sort of a gentle awakening through the back to the legs, slowly pedal your feet and release your chest in toward the thigh. Okay? A couple more breaths. Maybe you're sort of finding a combination of all of those things. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Let's all take a big breath in through the nose. Let's take an open mouth exhale. Seal the lips, breathe in. Continue pressing down through the palms. Take a little bend in the knees so that your heels release down. And then exhale, let's all rock forward to a plank pose. Bring the knees down to your mat or to the blanket if it's still there. Bend your elbows lower down chest, belly, and thighs. Press down through the hips and the tops of your feet. With your inhalation, ripple up to baby cobra. Let your chin tuck gently into your chest, keeping length in the back of your neck. And then exhale and release. Let your forehead tuck down into your mat. Inhale, rise again, baby cobra, drawing the shoulder blades in toward the spine and down along your back. Exhale and release. This time, if you'd like to take a slightly larger cobra, you certainly can. Press into the hands, lift the chest a little higher, and reach the heart forward. And then exhale, soften back down. Let's tuck the toes under and press back through the hands and knees. And then exhale, bring your seat back over your heels, sort of like a blend between a child's pose and a puppy pose, sort of in a crouch here. Take a breath in. With your out breath, start to move forward, lowering your pelvis to the degree that feels good. You can bring it all the way down, you can sort of hover it, sort of depends how your low back's feeling, but reach the heart forward, shoulders hug in toward the spine, and then exhale and move back. We'll take this a couple of times. Okay, nice and steady. Breathe in and out. Inhale, start to rock forward, letting the pelvis lower, maybe pressing into the tops of the feet. Lift up across the chest. Exhale, pull the belly in, let the hips come back to your crouch pose. Let's go one more time. Follow your breath. Meet in our crouch position. Breathe in and out. Inhale, lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog, seeing if you can go as slow as possible. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, land in your downward facing dog. Let's breathe in together. Extend the crown of the head to the space between your hands so your spine is lengthened all the way through the cervical spine, the vertebra of your neck. Exhale here, let your sitting bones draw back in space, the chest released toward the thighs. Let's breathe in one more time, and let it go. Look up toward the hands, exhale, very slowly start to move forward. You can take a lot of small steps, maybe some big steps. We'll meet in a forward bend at the top of the mat. Let your feet settle about hip distance apart. Let your hips come forward slightly. Let the exhale occur, and then let's inhale, lengthen up halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, sliding the hands to the thighs, rolling the shoulders onto the back. Press your hands into your thighs or maybe thumbs into hip creases here, maybe finding a little bit of more length, and gently bend the knees so the legs are not locked here. Let's take one more breath in, and then exhale and melt forward. You can let your body dangle here, or maybe find a bind of the arms, or use your blocks. And let your hands or your forearms kind of rest there. You may not necessarily need these blocks, but using them is a nice reminder that we can meet ourselves where we're at. Right? We can support ourselves. Let the crown of your head release down toward your mat. Take a deep breath in and out. We'll start to bend the knees, press down through the feet. You can set your blocks up ahead of you or kind of out to the side again. Walk your hands up your thighs, coming slowly up to stand. Feel everything sort of step. One vertebrae on top of the other, and then roll your shoulders and your chest open. Turn the palms to the front of your space. Settle your gaze onto a fixed point ahead of you on the floor, on the wall. This is your drishti, your gazing point, your focal point. Take a deep breath in and out. Let's inhale, circle the arms overhead, reach the fingers skyward, and then exhale, we'll twist to the right. So let your left arm go forward, your right arm move back in space. Let the chest turn forward, and notice how that right hip wants to travel as well. See if you can invite it back to the front of your space. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, return the arms through center. Exhale, twist to your left. Right arm forward, left arm back, and your gaze can follow the twist. You might want to, turn it all the way to the back, but it might land somewhere in between. Again, invite that left hip forward this time. Inhale, return your arms high. Gentle bend to the knees. Let's exhale, fold forward and down. Release the crown of the head. Let your body melt. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, release back down. Let's bring our blocks onto our mat here. We might change them as we evolve, but let's get them ready and have them on the medium setting. Step the right foot forward just a little bit, and then the left foot back. I'm gonna move my blanket up a little bit to support my knee. You might want it out of the way, up to you. Okay. Start to lower that left knee down and bring your blocks back a little bit so that they're kind of under your shoulders. You might even want to turn them out to a taller height. If that feels a little too aggressive for your hips, just bring them back down, maybe lower your chest as well. Okay? Also, you might want to try changing how far apart your legs are. Mine are rather far, so if this is too intense, bring that back knee in, okay, more toward kind of a 90-degree bend in both of your legs. Really, it's up to you. Close down your eyes when you found the position that works for you. Come back to that intention, recite it to yourself, or perhaps take a moment to say something kind to yourself here. Close down your eyes and bring your awareness inside your body. See if there's a part of you that can soften a little bit here. Maybe take your mandible, the lower jaw, and rock it side to side. Unhinging there. Maybe you can soften the eyebrows. But then draw the low belly in. Feel the left outer hip come slightly forward in space, giving yourself strength and stability in the low part of your body. Let's all take another breath in and out. Start to release your chest down, and of course open your eyes as you're starting to move here, light. And we'll press into those blocks, but let's move the hips back in space and turn the toes of the right foot up for Ardha Hanumanasana half split. Here too, you can adjust your blocks, maybe bring them back a little bit. And let's find a little bit of movement through that foot. So roll around the ankle, flex or flare your toes. And then with the next exhale, let's settle into stillness, drawing the toes in toward the knee, flexing the foot a little bit here. And you can unlock your knee, let it bend slightly so we're not locked out. Start to press down through that right heel and notice the back of your leg come alive a little bit more. Maybe the calf or the hamstring is feeling this here. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Release back to your lunge. Let your blocks come with you. And again, we want them sort of under the shoulders. We're going to press down into the blocks, lift that back knee. Okay? Here we are in a slightly higher lunge. Okay? Start to lift your chest, so perhaps coming up onto the fingertips. All right, but it might feel better to stay a little low. Let's take a deep breath in, pressing back through that left heel, feeling the pelvis rise slightly away from the floor as you draw the low belly in. Take one more breath in. And exhale, release that back knee down. Let's take a slow flow back to down dog. You can use your blocks if you'd like. Once you get into down dog, you feel a little different. So let's lift that back knee, step the right foot back. You're sort of in a plank pose here. And then exhale, press the hips back and press down into the blocks. I have the base of my palms at the edge of the block. It just gives me a little bit more of a grip. And I'm also kind of hugging thumbs and pinkies around me in the block. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of your mat, stepping, walking, hopping. Let's bring the feet up between the blocks a bit. Inhale, rise halfway. Bring the hands to the thighs. Exhale and release. Your forward bend, your way. You can use your blocks or not. Release any binds that you've made. And let's slowly come up to stand. So again, walking our hands up our legs. Take your time. Settle into Tadasana mountain pose. Palms forward, shoulders down, and the tailbone draws down toward the floor. So slight tuck, not over tuck, right? But giving us that length through the spine. Take a deep breath in. Nice slow exhale out. Great. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, let's twist to the right. Left arm forward, right arm back. Chest opens, invite the right hip forward. Inhale, return the arms high. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, bring your arms back through center. This time, let's take a cactus position in the arms. Bend the elbows. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the sternum and lift the gaze. Standing back bend here. Try to keep the low belly engaged so your core muscles engaged. So you're not just sinking into your lower back here. Okay. Take one more breath in and out. Release your arms back up to the sky. Gently bend the knees. Hinge from the waist. Roll down with the heart. Release back down. Forward bend. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale to release. Let's bring our blocks back onto our mat here. We'll set up for that lunge series on the other side. So now we'll step back with the right foot. Okay. And then lower your right knee down to a blanket or your mat. And start to find your low lunge. So you might bring the blocks to a taller height. You might lift. You might stay a little low. Or adjust how far apart your legs are. Once you're settled into your low lunge, close down your eyes. Take a nice breath out. Come back to that rhythm of the breath. Invite that kindness toward yourself, that intention for practice. Recite it as you inhale and exhale. Draw the low belly in. Let the right outer hip come slightly forward in space. Your pelvis is kind of right underneath you, drawing down, grounding toward the earth. Let's take a breath in, and then exhale. Start to release. You can press into your blocks to move the hips back. It's kind of a nice release. You don't have to make the hips do all the work. You can use some of your strength. Let's find Ardha Hanumanasana, the half split. I'm going to bring my blocks to a medium height. And find movement here. So that can be up to you. Maybe it's splits and bending and straightening, or it's just the ankle and the toes. Okay, it can feel nice for the front of the ankle. If you let your toes point down toward the front of your mat. Okay. On your next exhale, settle into stillness with that dorsiflexion, that drawing in of the toes toward the knee. Unlock the knee just a bit. Situate your blocks so that they can support you. Maybe under the shoulders, but some folks like them way out here. Fine too. Okay. Take a deep breath in, and with your breath out, see if you can ground down through that left heel. You're pressing through your mat, kind of igniting the left calf here. Take a deep breath in and out. Slowly start to walk yourself forward, rebending in the front knee. And situate the blocks, kind of framing that left foot toward the edges of the mat here. And then press into your blocks, lift the back knee. Okay, we'll take us a higher lunge here. Again, kind of a recurrent theme here. Adjust how you need to in your support, your blocks. Take a deep breath in and out. Really press back through that right heel. Let the pelvis lift slightly away from the mat as you're drawing in, finding a little bit of strength at the center of your body. You're giving yourself a little bit of spinal extension here as you reach the heart forward, just that kind of subtle back bending quality. Take another breath in, and then exhale and release. The back knee can come down. Let's transition slightly differently this time to see how it feels for you. You're always welcome to take the transition that works for you, but just to offer something different. I'm still going to bring my blocks to the lowest height, but this time I'm just going to move my left knee back and take some cat and cow type movements before I make my way back to down dog. With this exhale, lift the hips up and back. Take your down dog with blocks or without, maybe moving them to the side and bringing the palms down. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Come down onto your knees and find child's pose or your position of rest. Once again, it could be child's pose, it could be seated position. Okay. Take a moment to sort of let your body decide what this position of ease is going to be like. And take about 5 more breaths. Feel free to experiment with that longer inhale or longer exhale, or just sort of a longer breath in general, lengthening out both the in and the out breath. So I'll take one more big breath in and out. Start to lift yourself up and back into your down dog. And as we land there, breathe in and deeply out. Here, let's find some more opening across the hips. So move your left foot in toward the right foot just a little bit. Bring your right leg up and open. So bending at the knee, peeling that right hip open, and feel free to find movement here, ankle, knee circles. Notice how we might shift over toward the left, that left shoulder taking a lot of weight here. See if you can redistribute that into both arms and shoulders. Turn your chest back down toward the floor. Press evenly through both palms, and maybe then lift your knee a little bit higher. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, extend the right leg back and space to three-legged dog, neutralizing the pelvis. Inhale deeply here, and then exhale, start to bring that right leg forward. But let's bring the right foot to the outside of that right foot, right hand, outer edge of the mat. You can angle your toes out slightly and your heel in. Let the left palm ground down into your block or your mat, and lift your right arm up. Take a deep breath in and out. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, slowly releasing that right hand down. Step the right foot back. Here you are in some kind of plank pose. Feel free to make it back to down dog how you'd like. I'm going to lower my knees this time. Move through all the way down onto my chest and belly. Take a baby cobra. You might have chosen Chaturanga Dandasana, so you're in upward facing dog at this point with the legs lifted away from the mat. Exhale and release. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Step the right foot in slightly toward the left foot. And lift the left leg, bend the knee, and open the hip. Find movement here. Notice that tendency to move to the right so that the right side of the body takes most of the weight. And if you're in that position like I am, let's rotate that down. Let the chest point toward the thigh. Plug both thumbs and index fingers nicely into the mat, and maybe lift the left knee a little higher. Take a deep breath in. With the exhale, lengthen the left leg back, pulling back through that heel. And with the next exhale, let's start to move forward, bringing that left foot forward. So I'm going to help my foot along this time. Maybe that hip's a little tight. Need some support. And the left foot angles out and heel in. It's outside of my left hand. Okay? Take a breath in. And as we breathe out, lift the left arm, twist your chest to your left. You might want to use a block here. Come up onto my fist, give my wrist a little break. And give yourself another breath in and out. Slowly release your left hand down, both hands down onto your mat. And transition that left leg back. Okay. Finding a little bit of sneaky strength in that transition, right, into your plank pose. And then we'll meet in down dog. This time I'll take Chaturanga Dandasana, hinging forward, bending the elbows, lowering to a mid-plank. I keep my chest open here. Press down through the feet, lift up, and exhale, draw back. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, slowly look up toward the hands. Exhale, step your feet forward. Breathe in, lift halfway up. Breathe out and release. Bend the knees, press through your feet. Let's inhale and root to rise. Exhale, bring the palms together and down in front of your heart. You can close down your eyes now or in a moment. Maybe let your breath settle. If you're feeling dizzy, recognize that. See if it works for you to keep the eyes open or close them. Nice, long exhale. And then move your thumbs a little bit away from your chest and reach your chest toward your thumbs. It doesn't have to touch, but you're encouraging that opening, letting the shoulder blades hug in toward the spine, letting the collarbones move apart from one another. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Release your hands to your sides. Let's inhale and circle them overhead again. Bring the palms together, this time folding forward. And then release the hands. Let's take the feet out wide, form Malasana. Angle the toes out and the heels in. Lower your seat down toward the floor. And here's where your blocks can be handy again. You can use both underneath your pelvis, underneath your sitting bones, or maybe just one if you want. But we want to give ourselves a hip opening as well as an opening across the chest. So if you're kind of hunched and rounded here, maybe your blocks can be helpful for you so that you've taken some of the work out of the pose. All right, and once you're kind of settled here, feet can be wider than the hips, you've got blocks or you don't, you can play with your hands a little bit. So if it's available to you, bring your palms together and bring your elbows to the insides of your knees, kind of pushing them open to give you more of that hip opening. If this is too strenuous, just more of a strain than your body needs, feel free to bring your hands down, okay? Maybe the upper arms and triceps are kind of pressing the hips open. Right, up to you. Take another breath in and out. Release forward, let your hands come down. Lift your hips. You can turn your toes forward. Crown of the head releases down. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, release. Keep your feet wide. Let's come all the way up. Exhale, bring your palms together and down. And take one more breath in and out. And then walk your feet back about hip distance apart. Okay? Let your shoulders roll back, let your palms turn open. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward and down. Let's step back with the left foot. And we're going to take our blocks and transition into a wide-legged straddle forward fold from here. So with your blocks in each hand, start to pivot that back foot down and the front foot down as well, lining the toes up with each other. Turn your body to the center of your back. I'm going to turn around for oriented toward you guys. Okay, once in your forward bend here, decide if you'd like to stay in stillness. Maybe turn the blocks down and bring your forearms down and your hands down, crown of the head down. Or perhaps you're using this position to invite some movement, getting into the outer hips and inner thighs with a little bit of these side lunges or kind of a skandasana type movement. Up to you. Let's all take a breath in and out, releasing into the center. And then press your hands into your blocks, lift your chest. Let's heel toe the feet in just a little bit, maybe like 1 foot width. Turn the toes out, heels in, come up onto, or hands onto the thighs, come into a squat here. And if you're like me, you're always shifting as soon as you get into this pose, widening through the foot bed, kind of flaring and lifting the toes. And then settle into stillness here on the exhale. Let's bring the forearms down. And if you need to walk your feet in a little to accommodate this sort of deeper squat with your body lowered, go ahead, okay? Forearms onto the thighs. Take a deep breath in and out. One more time, breathe in and out. Let your knees and toes point out to the side, kind of in the same direction. With your next exhale, bring your hands up onto your thighs. Breathe in here, and as we breathe out, lengthen the legs. Relief. Inhale, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, hands together. Bend the knees, lower the seat down. This time, let's bring the hands to the thighs again. We'll stay lifted here and find a twist. Inhale, lift across the chest. Exhale, dip your left shoulder to the center of your mat. Gaze right. Bringing out your spine here as if it were a towel, giving all the water out. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Using your hands, kind of keep the knees pointed over the toes, but also that sense of hip opening. And let's slow flow with the breath. Inhale, back to center, chest open. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center, exhale, lengthen through the legs, turn the toes forward, rise to your 5-pointed star again. Exhale, fold forward and down. We'll transition back to a lunge. You stay where you're at, we're just turning around, so I'll end up with you all. Take your blocks and bring them forward as you pivot toward the front of your mat. Okay, returning to a lunge with the support of the blocks. Breathe in and out, and let's return again to downward facing dog. How you get there's up to you. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, look up toward your hands. Exhale, arrive at the top of your space. Let's inhale, lift halfway up. Nice long spine here. And exhale to release. Take the feet wide, with heel toeing them out for Matranga or squat. Lower your seat down, bending the knees, lifting the head and heart. Take a hand position that works for you, palms together. Maybe fingers down, and use your blocks if you'd like to. You also want to take care of your knees here. So sometimes this deep squatting, there's a lot of compression around the knees. You can always come up a little higher. Your quads are going to work harder for you, but it might feel better for the knees. Okay, a couple more breaths. And then release your hands down. Lift your hips, turn the toes forward. Let's take the index and middle finger and wrap them around the big toes. Bend your knees and bend your elbows, and allow your chest to melt in toward your thighs. Release the crown of your head down. This is Vinyasa. Hand to big toe pose with the forward bend. Bend your knees as much or as little as you want to get to that place of release and surrender. Sometimes playing with the bending of the knees gives you a different sensation in your lower back. So maybe check in there, close your eyes, kind of bring your awareness to that space and see what is better for you, like straight or knees bent. Let's take another deep breath in and out. Release the grip of the hands. Let's take our blocks again and step back now with your right foot. and start to forward bend. That wide straddle forward fold, kind of turning your body toward the center of the mat. So I guess it doesn't matter too much which foot you step back with, but you'll want to end up back to the front of your space in the lunge that's on the other side. So I think we've done it right. We'll want to end up in a left leg front lunge, okay? So in our wide-legged straddle forward fold, play with here now how far apart your feet are, maybe you want them shorter or wider apart. Let the weight come forward a bit toward the balls of the feet, and with your exhale, surrender down. Now, make this one totally your choice. So if you want to find movement or stillness or get upside down, take it as you'd like, okay? Slowly start to come back up. If you went low, take hold of your blocks again, maybe press into them. Let's walk the feet in just a little bit here, shortening the stance slightly, and then just kind of move one of your blocks toward the center of your space. Bring your left hand down into the block and the right hand to the low back, feeling into the sacrum. And then with your next inhale, start to open your chest to the right. So let the right shoulder kind of peel back over the left. You might like to bend your left knee here, maybe keep the leg straight. And if you want a little bit more of a twist, lift your right arm up toward the sky. You're also welcome to play with this bottom block. Maybe you want it, maybe you don't. Maybe you need it at a different height. Slowly start to release that top hand, taking your time. Let's trade out the hands. Right hand to block or the floor, left hand to low back. Gently peel the left shoulder back. Turn your gaze to the side if that's okay with your neck. And then if you'd like to, you can modify here. You can bend your right knee. You can lift your left arm. You can do a combination of those or make it your own. Change it up a little bit here. Slowly start to release the top hand back down toward your block. Let's grab our blocks in both hands and start to transition back toward the front. So turning toward this left leg, bring the left hand around the left leg, finding our lunge. Okay, pause for a moment here. Lift the chest as you inhale. Exhale, begin your transition back to your downward facing dog. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Please take your time to get there. This will be our last time in downward facing dog as its own pose. You might find this position as some kind of transitional movement, but here we are for the last time in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. Take a moment to say that kindness to yourself. And then let's come down onto the knees and onto your seat. You can just spin your feet out to the side and around. Here we'll find a few seated positions. Let's start in a seated figure four, and this will kind of evolve into various hip options. So treat it like you're on a bus and you're getting off at the stop that suits you, okay? So let's start in a seated figure four with the left ankle over the right knee, okay? Let your chest kind of move toward this top shin, and you can adjust your hands how you need to. So maybe your fingers point out or in. Okay. Start to flex the toes here, bringing them kind of in toward the knee. So you can stay here. This might feel like just what you need for your hips, or you might like to move forward into fire log pose. For that, I'm going to bring my right foot across to the left side of my space. Move the weight forward. I'm on my sitting bones. And I'm going to stack my shins more or less. If they're not perfectly stacked, I always end up having a bit of space here. My knee is kind of up in space. And so I'm going to fill that out with a block. You can take it at any height. You can use a blanket instead, what works for you. Okay? So this left heel is kind of above the kneecap, just sort of that inner thigh region there. And let's bring our hands to the feet. All right, we want our toes a little flexed back in toward the knees here for a little bit of a different engagement sensation in your hips. With your hands at your feet, press your hands into your feet and let your feet press back. Okay, you might notice a feeling of strength here. Take a couple more breaths with this engaged sensation. If you like it, you can keep it for the duration of the pose, but it might be nice just to settle as well. Take one more deep breath in, pressing hands into feet, feet into hands if you're in this version. And then exhale, release your hands. You can just let them come out to the sides, or maybe walk them forward and surrender the chest and head down. If you're still in figure 4, great. If you sort of ended up modifying it, that's wonderful too, okay? Maybe you wanted to come onto your back because that's a more accessible figure 4 for you. Slowly start to walk yourself back up. Let's lean the weight back and unloading the legs. Take that block out. And uncross the legs. Align them. Let's take those windshield wiper motions. So feet wide, knees side to side. And let's set up for the other side. Okay, so steady your legs. And let's bring the right ankle over the left knee this time. Knee moves away toward the front of the space. Chest moves in toward the top shin. And we flex the toes in toward the knee. Okay, we'll do that same series of options on the other side. So know that you can stay here, or maybe you kind of know what you want to do and you already want to lower into your back for a reclined figure 4. Okay? Or you're ready to move into that firelog pose, king pigeon. Bring the left foot across to the right side of your space. Bring the weight forward so you're sitting up on your sitting bones here. Take whatever support you need underneath that right leg. Flex the toes in toward the knees. So we'll find that same engagement option, but you don't have to take it, right? If you want that, go for it. Bring your hands to your feet. Press your feet into your hands, and your hands back into your feet. Okay, finding this opposition. Try to unclench your jaw and soften across your face here. Right, strengthen the lower body, softness in the upper body of the face. One more deep breath in and out. Release that engagement. Let your hands come away from the feet. You're welcome to stay lifted or begin to walk yourself a little lower down. Okay, you might adjust that prop as well. And then slowly start to walk yourself up. Lean the weight back, unloading the legs, uncrossing them here. And again, windshield wiper motions. Steady the knees. And let's start to come down onto our backs. I always like to give an option for Navasana, boat pose, lowering down. You're welcome to take that last bit of strengthening. I'm just going to walk my body down today. Adjust yourself on your mat so that you're fully on your mat. Let's reach the fingers away from the toes. Give yourself a nice big stretch, maybe rolling through the wrists and arms, the ankles as well. And then exhale, bring your hands down at your sides and bring your feet in. Let's find a few rolling bridge poses. Walk the heels in, let them be about hip distance apart. Okay, you can just touch your heels with your longest finger, switching just out of reach, so they're kind of under your knees here. Press down through the arms, lift up with the pelvis, pressing down through the feet, and then when your hips are high, bring your arms overhead. Stay for this exhale. Let's breathe in together, and then exhale, slowly release everything back down. Inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips. This time bring the arms as well, so that we're kind of lifting hips and arms at the same time. And then exhale and release. Take one more at your own pace. Pause when you've completed the movement. Let's take the feet a little bit wide and then let the knees fall in toward each other. Bring your hands onto your body, kind of at the sides of your abdomen. Maybe feeling some of the ribs with your fingers. And breathe into your hands here. We'll start to prepare for Shavasana, our final rest. So you've got a lot of options as to how you'd like to close out your practice, okay? Maybe you just want to stay here in this constructive rest, and that's Shavasana. Maybe you'd like some happy baby type movements, okay? One leg at a time or both. Maybe you're just setting up for your Shavasana. I'm going to take a happy baby pose quickly here, bringing my feet up, taking the, I'm actually going to bring my hands onto my toes and the balls of my feet, right? Use that to kind of find my hand connection, bringing the knees down, in, toward my body, toward the floor. Maybe you want to find movement. And by all means, if you're in something different, great. If your body's like, I want a different pose, that's fine, okay? We all meet in Shavasana, and we get there our own way. Start to slow down your movements, and give yourself a nice big hug. And then surrender into your Shavasana. Traditional shape is arms and legs extended. Back of the body sinking into the floor, and front of the body getting soft. Eyes settle in the sockets, jaw on hinges. You might like to take Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees wide. That position we started with in our seats, but now on our backs. You may have moved your body to a wall for legs at the wall as your Shavasana. Again, this is your practice. Your body, and therefore your choices, as long as it is a position of rest and ease. Let your eyes close down if they're not already, and bring your awareness into your breath. Simply noticing the rise and fall. Take a moment to say thank you to your mind, your body, and your spirit here for showing up for your practice. And simply rest here. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. You are most welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. When you're ready to move on with your day, begin to deepen your breath. Start to find small movements in your fingers and toes. Gently bend your knees and turn on to either side to come into a fetal position. Put your head rest here on your arm or your blanket. Invite a bit of gratitude into your awareness here, even if it's something small, maybe just something that has occurred to you over this past hour of mindful movement and breath, something that there's just a little bit more space for now. Bring your top hand down to the floor and use both of your hands to press yourself up into a seat. Let your hands slide out onto your knees. Take a nice big breath in through your nose. Exhale, open mouth. Seal your lips, breathe in. Keep your lips sealed, breathe out. Hands come together in front of the heart. Bow your head to the wisdom of your heart. Lift your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows, seal in your practice. Coming back to the intentions you said earlier for practice, now reaffirming those intentions as you step off of your mat and into the rest of your day. Take a moment to consider how you can live your yoga. Bow a little bit more to that inner teacher, inner light, and inner wisdom. Thank you all so much for taking time in your day for this practice. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to have this time with you all. The teacher and the light within me honors and recognizes the teacher and the light within all of you. Om Shanti. Peace. From my heart to yours, thank you all so much. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.